arrange the order, but that is supposed to go for about, in total, 5 minutes. Can you switch on the video?
Prize in 1993. I received a prize in 1998, and by that time there was in place a meeting, or arrangement for a meeting of Nobel Peace Laureates on a global scale to see what we can do to advance those concepts. FW was invariably there at those meetings, making a significant contribution and being a real help to the Permanent Secretariat. FW de Klerk received the Nobel Peace Prize in 1993. I received a prize in 1998, and by that time there was in place a meeting, or arrangement for a meeting of Nobel Peace Laureates on a global scale to see what we can do to advance those concepts. FW
Can you please correct it?
Meetings,
give it a proper orientation.
And being a real help to the Permanent Secretariat who had the job of trying to herd all these people together. FW de Klerk received the Nobel Peace Prize in 1993. I received a prize in 1998, and by that time there was in place a meeting, or arrangement for a meeting of Nobel Peace Laureates on a global scale to see what we can do to advance those concepts. FW was invariably there at those meetings, making a significant contribution and being a real help to the Permanent.
Thank you very much. I'm being, ladies and gentlemen, properly advised that whilst we are sorting out the technology, can in the meantime we move to Mr. Dave Steward to address us.
Dearest Alita and the de Klerk family, Your Excellency President Ramaphosa, honored guests, all protocol observed. Some commentators believe that history is driven by great socio-economic forces. Others argue that it is individuals who determine its course. Perhaps it is a combination of both factors. All ages are subject to the ebb and flow of socio-economic tides. But destiny is sometimes determined by exceptional leaders who know how to navigate those tides, and who sometimes catch the breaking wave of history. F.W. de Klerk was such a leader. Nelson Mandela was undoubtedly another. When the dust has settled from the passing caravan of history, F.W. de Klerk will be remembered primarily for 4 achievements. Firstly, he will be remembered for the boldness with which he initiated constitutional transformation and his skill and perseverance in co-managing the process. Most leaders, when confronted by the enormous risks of transformation would have been more cautious. Under growing pressure, they would grudgingly have made concession after concession as the balance of forces shifted inexorably against them. Like Ian Smith, they would have missed their historic opportunity to reach a settlement at the most favorable time. F.W. de Klerk realized that following the fall of the Berlin Wall in November 1989, the time would never again be so favorable for constitutional negotiations. Accordingly, on the 2nd of February 1990, at a single stroke, he removed every obstacle to the commencement of talks. To the alarm of his security advisors, he unbanned all previously proscribed revolutionary organizations, including the SACP, the PAC, and the ANC, and announced the imminent release of Nelson Mandela. Despite numerous crises, including escalating violence, rolling mass action, and the walkouts by leading parties, he kept the process on course. Remarkably, he was able to maintain the support of his core constituency throughout these stormy times. There were no defections from his cabinet and no defections from his caucus. When the Conservative Party claimed at the beginning of 1992 that he had lost his mandate to continue with negotiations, the Klerk called a referendum of white voters. His advisors feared that he would lose, but he received almost 70% support to continue on his constitutional course. Unlike many reformers, he was able to see through to its logical conclusion the process that he initiated in 1990. On the 2nd of February 1990, he said that his goals included a new democratic constitution, universal franchise, no domination, equality before an independent judiciary, the protection of minorities as well as of individual rights, and freedom of religion. The 1993 interim constitution made broad provision for all these goals. The climax of his career, ironically, and as mentioned by Noel,
F.W. de Klerk received
occurred on the 10th of May 1994, on the day that he ceased to be president. He believed that he had achieved his goals because he was handing power not to Nelson Mandela, not to the ANC, but to a new democratic dispensation in which the Constitution and not the government of the day would be supreme. F.W. de Klerk's second great achievement was the dismantling of the system of apartheid that had caused untold hardship, deprivation, and humiliation to generations of South Africans. By the 17th of June 1991, the last apartheid laws were scrapped, and by December 1993, with the adoption of the interim constitution, the process was complete. His last message included a sincere, heartfelt, and unconditional apology for apartheid. History will recognize his third great contribution as his decision, shortly after becoming president, to dismantle South Africa's nuclear weapons. He remains the only national leader who has ever abolished a nuclear weapons capability developed in his own country. Finally, he will be remembered for his unwavering commitment to the constitutional democracy that he, together with Nelson Mandela, Mangosuthu Buthelezi, Thabo Mbeki, Cyril Ramaphosa, Zach de Beer, and all the other negotiators helped to create. In 1999, he established the F.W. de Klerk Foundation to defend and promote the Constitution. His vision to the day of his death remained fixed on the realization of a society based on the Constitution's foundational values. And let me remind you what they are. They include human dignity, the achievement of equality, the advancement of human rights and freedoms, non-racialism and non-sexism, the supremacy of the Constitution and the rule of law, and a genuine system of multi-party democracy that is accountable, responsive, and open. The challenge for all of us who remain behind will be to make these values a lived reality for all South Africans. F.W. de Klerk's epitaph should perhaps be the following remark that he made to the Cape Town Press Club in October last year, and I quote, "None of us can determine the nature of the worlds into which we are born, or the injustices that we inherit from the past. All we can do is to wrestle with the political forces of our time and try to leave the world a freer, a more just, and a better place than we found it." F.W. de Klerk wrestled with the political forces of his time and left South Africa at the end of his presidency a freer, a more just, and a better place than he had found it. Thank you.